What's up, you guys? Saku Foxheart here. Welcome back to the Fox Den. I'm glad you guys could make it, and I hope you're having a fantastic day because we are getting back into Novena Diabolos, and we're gonna find out what's up with these two girls and what's going on in this town. There's a murdery cult thing going on, and I want to know what's at the bottom of it, and we're gonna find out what's at the bottom of it. So, without further ado, guys, let's get into it. What are you doing here? She's speaking in a clear, quiet voice, but it's obvious she's unhappy about me being here. What are you doing here? Why are you just standing near a dead body? I don't really know how to respond. This young girl, who appears to be a middle school student at best, is interrogating me while calmly standing next to a corpse. That is a little odd. This is not a situation I was ever prepared for. It's dangerous here. Don't you know that? Dangerous? What do you mean? I realize how stupid I must sound, but I can't stop myself from asking. Ooh. You oofed! You gotta oof. Follow me. Whoa, hey! This girl is very strong for someone her size. Resistance is futile, and even though I don't really want to, I have no choice but to let myself be dragged along by this girl. But what about my book? I don't need my book. You don't want to just leave that at the scene of a crime. I have been dragged quite far away. Stop it already. Who the hell are you, a wrestler? Your name. What? Your name. What is it? Junsung Park. And you? What about yours? Sumi Choi. I really don't know how to reply to her short and abrupt answer. Sumi Choi. What an unusual name. I am going to... talk to her. Just talk to her. You look like a student, so what are you doing here? You shouldn't walk into a crime scene just like that. The killer may very well still be on the loose nearby. There is no killer here. How are you so certain, Sumi Choi? I don't know if you actually do know. Maybe you're the killer. She is strong for her size. I wait for her to continue, but Sumi doesn't say another word. So, what are you doing here? I end up repeating my question. I have to say, she's a little difficult to deal with. There is something blooming right in this village. Something is blooming? Hey now! Don't just stop there. Please, tell me what you mean. You're going to die here. Oh my god, what? What? Huh? If you want to live, get out of here. I stare at her in disbelief as she walks past me, and barely manage to catch up to her. Hey, I need to know what you mean. Why am I going to die? This is an abnormal place for the soul. Abnormal for... I'm sorry, what? Just let it go. Huh? She pushes me aside with ease. What is up with those eyes of hers? They're going to kill you. Who? The other guests? I've warned you. Quite clearly, I might add. Speaking in a quiet, concise voice, Sumi disappears. I look at the spot where she was standing just a moment ago. Although our conversation wasn't a long one, I'm utterly exhausted. What the hell was that all about? I'm going to be killed? Sounds like, stuff's not going to turn out great for you, my man. You need to get out of there. Usually when somebody says get out, you get out. I feel like I'm the weak kid everyone's ganging up on. I really can't stress how much I hate this place. Too many strange people in one spot, all of them with a weird aura. Something's definitely wrong when talking to a harmless girl feels uncomfortable. Okay, I have to keep it together. I have nothing to fear from a couple of backwater village weirdos. I have to shake the feeling of unease and start walking. I'm exhausted. First things first, I need to get out of here. It's still early in the morning, and yet I feel like I've already had enough. My mind is so preoccupied that I forgot about breakfast and returned to the motel. Filling my stomach is the least of my worries right now. I just need some time to organize my thoughts. I suddenly come to a halt. Hey, you! Wait a minute! It's the soothing, silky voice of a woman, a sound that doesn't fit this village's bleak atmosphere at all. What is it this time? I look in the direction of the voice is coming from with a tired, weary expression. Hello, Rinche. Nice to meet you. I'm Rinche. She's a beautiful woman. Her pretty face matches her voice. A beautiful woman talking to me with a smile on her face? Honestly, I can't say I would complain about that. All things considered, this is the first genuine friendly greeting I've received in a long time. Oh, hi there. My name's Jun-sun Park. It's nice to meet you. I greet her, looking at her carefully. Talk to her. She doesn't look like the kind of person who would hang around in a town like this. Look at her. I'll take a closer look at her. Take a closer look. Rin-Shay looks like a stereotypical rich girl. Stunningly beautiful and dressed in expensive clothes, straight from the boutique. She fit the role of one of those mean girl characters from the 90s K-dramas, the type that harass protagonists all the time. Though, I guess she isn't young enough for that. If I had to take a guess, I'd say she's probably in her mid-20s. If someone told me that she was an up-and-coming actress, I would believe them in an instant. I'll talk to her. I've never seen you around before. You're not from here, are you? No, I am not. I am not from this culty, weird place, okay? And the fact that you're, like, normal-ish makes it even more unsettling. That's right. I'm an outsider. An outsider? Well, what is it that brings you here? Like, are you on a trip? Or do you have some kind of family that lives here that you're visiting? Her overly direct, inquisitive approach startles me a little. This is starting to feel like a spontaneous greeting between strangers, and more like an interrogation. Ooh, I knew it! I knew it! My internal alarm bells are ringing, which is why I think carefully before opening my mouth. I'm kind of stranded, actually. Suddenly, there was all this fog. I'm here because I didn't have much of a choice. Is that so? Rin-Shay gives me the once-over. What's up with that unpleasant attitude? My first impression of her was good, but this is a little offensive. Did you come down here from Seoul? Yeah, I'm a program director. Oh, I see. You work for a broadcasting station in Seoul. What? How did you get that from program director? Rin looks at me as if I'm some rare, exotic animal put on display in a zoo. No, maybe I'm just being too sensitive. I'm a stressed out mess, and this is a lot to take in. Maybe I'm just imagining things and reading into it. I decided to break the ice in hopes of softening the strange atmosphere between us. Rin-Shay, was it? I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you don't appear to be from around here either. Oh, I forgot to properly introduce myself. Rin-Shay, Yonggon Construction's Executive Director. Please, here's my business card. I am sorry about pronunciations, guys. I'm trying, but that is, not my strong suit. Yonggon Construction. Rin-Shay, Executive Director. Executive Director? I'm a little puzzled. Yonggon Construction. Isn't that one of the 3 largest construction companies in Korea? Such a big company has such a young woman as its executive director? How didn't I already know about this, given my occupation? Rin-Shay looks at me with a playful expression. Is it really that obvious how surprised I am? So, Mr. City Boy, I'd like to have a more serious talk with you later. Might that be possible? My eyes meet hers. A serious talk? The sound of that bothers me somehow. What could Yongwei Construction's executive director possibly have to say to me? I don't let my worries get the best of me, and nod slowly. Yeah, sure thing. I have a lot of free time on my hands anyway. Woohoo! Fantastic. Okay, be seeing you later then. Don't let me keep you now. Go on in and relax a little. I nod and head inside. I turn around to look back in Rin's direction. Despite its warmth, Rin-Shay's smile looks strangely ominous. I step inside the motel. The motel owner looks at me as he rolls his eyes and makes gestures that I can't quite place. It looks pretty funny. Have you heard the news? The news? What do you mean? The murder. I'm taken aback for a moment. I thought I'd let this guy know, but it looks like he's heard about it already. Did Hana tell him about it? There's never been a single violent crime around here. And now, a murder? Please, do be careful. Don't go roaming around at night. Yes, you're right. I'll keep that in mind. Great, great. Well, don't worry about it too much, though. After all, where can a murderer hide in a town this small? Some very diligent people from this town are already hard at work searching for whoever did it. They'll find the culprit soon enough. The motel owner's words make me think. If the townspeople are trying to deal with this on their own, that must mean that there is really no way at all to contact police around here. Chasing after a murderer like that and venturing out there is dangerous. How should I respond? Give advice? Reassure? Don't get involved. I don't really want to get involved, but if I give advice, doesn't that kind of like implicate me a little bit for them? Like, doesn't that make them go, oh, that's dangerous? So I don't know. I'm gonna reassure. It's the middle ground. I'll stay middle ground. Let's go with that. You're right. Small place like this, whoever did it will be found soon enough. I'll just try to trust the people of this town and be on my way. You mean you'll just sit it out and quietly stay here in my humble motel? Well, yeah. I thought an incident like that would pique your interest, since you work for the broadcasting station. You're not even asking about any details. Aren't you at least a bit curious about how the victim died? No, it's... I'm kidding! Relax! Why so serious? It's a terrible tragedy, so obviously you don't need to know the details. We'll take care of it and deal with it in our own way. Think of it as something that never happened. Someone from around here just got brutally murdered, and he's talking about it like, are you kidding me? I feel weirded out all of a sudden, so much so that I choose not to say anything else and just walk straight past the counter. I have a strange feeling about that man. And not for the first time either. He does kind of give off a creepy vibe, I'm gonna say. He might be a murderer. Just saying. I make my way up the stairs, then stop. A girl who's looking out of her room at the end of the hallway, and I make contact. I'm honestly surprised by how tall she is. I'm not a particularly short guy, yet I still find myself having to look up. I don't like how her neck's kind of crinked. It's weirding me out, man. For a moment, I wonder if she's a famous model. But even though she's tall, her face shows that she's still a young girl. If I had to guess, I'd say she's a high school student. I wonder if I'm right. Don't get surprised eyes by me! She freezes as she sees me. She looks like she just seen a monster. Instantly filled with self-doubt, I look down at myself, but in all honesty, my appearance shouldn't provoke such a drastic reaction. I'm not that scary. Maybe not the cream of the crop, but at least I'm solid 7 out of 10, right? And it's not like I'm physically imposing and towering over her either. I look at her again. The poor girl still looks scared, and it's also quite sad for some reason. I'm gonna reassure her. Hey, hello there. How are you? So, are you a tourist, too? Or just passing through? Ah! She ran away! God, no! Did you see the look in her eyes? For a moment, I just stand there in disbelief and stare at the door that was shut so suddenly. What the hell? Did I say something wrong? I feel like there's been a big misunderstanding here, but I really don't have the time or energy to clear it up right now. I just shake my head and make my way towards my room. I'm not a fan of self-pity, but I've really been through a lot. It's still really early in the morning, yet I am already exhausted. I feel like I would have no trouble falling asleep on the spot. I walk out into the hallway with slow steps. Oh! Wow, that was close. I almost bumped into her. This lady, she's staying here too. Seems plausible. Why else would I run into her here of all places? I'll move to the left since I'm left-handed. Let's go. I turn to the left. At the very same moment, she moves in the exact same direction as me. This time, I turn to the right. She moves in the exact same direction as me again. I take a small, clumsy step back. Hey, what's up? Oh, yeah, hi. Most awkward greeting ever. How super strange for both of us. This whole situation is painfully weird. I'm gonna conversation, get the atmosphere going. I squeeze my body against the narrow hallway's wall and make a gesture signaling her to move past. Go ahead. After you. I can't help but stare at her as she walks away. I don't know how to properly put it in words, but she exudes a very strange aura. There's something about her that is almost calm, yet at the same time magically magnetic. I open my mouth without even realizing it. Hey, I'm Junsung Park. And my name's Nari Lee. Okay. Silence. So, what brings you here? Well, I was on my way to a nursing clinic and got lost in the fog. A clinic? Is there something that ails her? Now that I think about it, Nari does look as if she's lacking energy. And what about you? Oh, I'm a PD. Here's my card. News? PD? That's right. It's a program called News Trace. Isn't that a really famous show? Oh, so you've heard of News Trace. I obviously know she has, yet I still ask for confirmation. It's one of my bad habits that I just can't seem to shake. Of course I've heard of it. What happened that would bring you all the way out here in such a remote place? I was on my way out here to gather information. For a story I'm working on. I don't mention the words mass disappearance. No need to say more than I have for no reason. I was traveling by car, got lost and stuck here because of the fog, just like you. Oh no, you must be very busy. I hope this doesn't cause too many problems with your job. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. With things being the way they are, I guess all I can do is take in an involuntary break. I catch myself smiling for no apparent reason. Appropriate response, well suited for a casual conversation. It's nice to talk to somebody normal, but I wonder if I should be so open and casual. Come to think of it, why did I call out to her in the first place? Oh, I hope I'm not keeping you from something. No, not at all. Well, I wish you good luck with everything and safe trip. Oh yeah, thank you very much. I'll leave you to it then. She looks down at the floor shyly and walks away to the other side of the hallway. How strange. I'm not acting like myself. Usually I'm a lot better at talking to people. I watch Nari as she leaves and then return to my room, confused about what exactly happened just now. You were struck by the love bug, my dude! It's evening already, and the sun is starting to set. My whole body feels weak, and looking back at the day, I realize in retrospect that I haven't eaten anything so far. I decide to head for the restaurant the motel owner recommended, so I can have at least one nourishing meal. That's a good idea. Get your snack down with a Mac down, my man. Snack it all you can, dude. The very recent murder is already a hot topic of discussion at the restaurant. There's just one thing that strikes me as strange, which is that the people talking about the murder don't appear to be very scared. There isn't any fear or confusion. People are talking about it in a nonchalant manner. It's like listening to a bunch of bad actors, utterly incapable of portraying emotion in their lines. Their next-door neighbor just died, and it's a really small town. Yet, they still carry on having normal conversations just like that? Also, I don't know if I'm imagining things, but I get the impression they're acting this way because I'm around. Could that be? Or is the whole thought ridiculous? I don't know, man. That's kind of strange. It's a little weird that everybody's just, like, chilling and hanging out and stuff while there's murders going on and stuff. But they said they can handle it, so I'm going to trust them, and hopefully I don't die. On my way back from the diner to the motel, everything is already pitch black. Okay, pitch black. Okay, yep, I'm in my room. Yep, flip them lights, the creepy little flicky lights. Oh, God. It's been a long day. I quietly complain and hastily throw off my coat. I sit down and look at the pictures I took with my phone. Looking at the mangled corpse, it looks just as bad as it did earlier. I throw my phone aside as I can feel my dinner coming up again. Sure, as a PD, it's exciting to catch a big case like this. But that doesn't make witnessing something so horrible any easier, and it's enough to tire me out emotionally. I let out a loud sigh and wrapped myself up in a blanket. It's nowhere near as comfy as my bed back home, but right now it's enough to make my body feel as if it's melting away. Wonderful. Starting tomorrow, I'll make some serious inquiries and get to the bottom of this. I motivate myself with some much-needed words of reaffirmation. It's a little early to be going to bed already, but I should close my eyes and get some rest. What's the noise? Ah! I open my eyes. It's Wednesday, question marks. Don't know what that is. I open my eyes and feel like I just woke up from a terrible nightmare. My heart is pounding in my chest like crazy, so much that it really hurts. I hold my chest tight and take a deep breath. The cell phone. There's no signal in this place, meaning phone calls shouldn't be working. I don't remember setting an alarm, but for some reason the phone's ringing. I fumble around with my hand and reach out to grab my phone, but I can't find it. I wait for a while. Oh my god. As my eyes adjust to the darkness, I can see my phone next to the bed. The screen isn't visible because it's turned upside down. Alarm 666. Oh my, no, it's not 6, it's 999. It's upside down on the phone, right? Yeah, it's not evil. Why would there be evil? What time is it? Ugh, it's 666. Okay, maybe it was 666. My bad. I was trying to have, optimistic look at it. A time that should not exist is displayed on the cell phone. I feel so startled and uneasy that I toss my phone to the side. I look around the room. It's hard to see anything, really. It's a dark room, so it's only natural not to see the surroundings. But something feels different. Even now that my eyes are somewhat adjusted to the darkness, I feel a sense of isolation and loneliness. This feeling, it's as if I've been abandoned in the dark. What's going on? I struggle to lift myself in an upright position. Cold sweat is running down my back. The foggy road. The strange village. The murder scene. It's like everything that could possibly go wrong is doing so. Times 10. Ugh. There's a really bad stench in the air all of a sudden. I can't place it. I've never smelled anything quite like this before. Covering my mouth and nose, I look around again. For some reason, the air inside the room feels sticky. It's so unpleasant that I can't help but rub my arms with my hands. Don't tell me I can hear footsteps approaching. Oh no, don't tell me there's something in the room, dude. A cloud of cold mist hovers around the room, and someone slowly phases through the wall, stepping out into the mist. I knew it was demons! Pentagram culty stuff, I knew it! I see the pentagram! It's a tall man, dressed in what appears to be a priest's uniform. That man, no way! Did he just pass through the wall? Who are? I feel like it's best not to say anything right now, and I can't even bring myself to finish my question. Another man dressed in a priest's uniform appears at the opposite wall. Upon closer inspection, I see a black mist emanating from inside his uniform. I feel like I'm completely surrounded, and resisting is the last thing I plan on doing. All I can do is stare. What? Though it's a belated reaction, I can't stay still. I just try to get up. Holy crap! The black mist seeping out of the man's uniform extends like a tentacle, throwing me to the ground. The sheer force of it renders me unable to breathe for a moment. What the hell is this? A dream? Or am I going crazy? Or could this actually be real? Johnson Park. That is your name, is it not? I can hear a voice in front of me, and I stare into the darkness ahead. Oh my god! What's a demon doing here? Then he shows up, accompanied by a red glow. He's definitely standing in front of me right now. Even so, I still can't logically wrap my head around the thought of him actually being here. Who are you? Oh, my word. Do you really need to ask? The answer comes swiftly in the tone that I can't quite place. I feel like listening to the voice is tearing my heart apart. Damn it! I don't even know how I'm maintaining my composure right now. Well, yeah. Who the hell are you? I can barely muster up the courage to squeeze out the words. I'm still not sure if this is really happening. Who, or whatever's in front of me, is smiling straight at me. Oh, that's a creepy, uneasy smile. In your language. Well, you could call me a witness of sorts. A witness? What do you mean? Have you been following me around? You are attending a divine event. An event? You do not need to burden yourself with details. Just know it is an event specifically prepared for you. As soon as he finishes his sentence, his unsettling smile returns, like he's on the brink of laughing. I'm in danger. The more I talk to this person, the more I can feel a palpable sense of dread. This is an entity I shouldn't be talking to. An event? Prepared just for me? What do you mean by that? You will find that the rules are quite simple. This village was built for the devil, and you have been chosen as a precious offering. 5 females have been prepared for you. I think you have met them already. How was it? Anyone in particular tickle your fancy? As he continues in a mocking tone of voice. Oh my god, okay. Yep. I can see the faces passing me by in my mind. The women I met by chance this morning. No way. Could he really be referring to them? Spend some nice time with them and have fun. You can pick and choose whichever one you like. An offering quite enticing to any man, wouldn't you agree? Every single word of his carries an undertone of ridicule. He's definitely mocking me. Oh, and one more thing to keep in mind. With an exception of one uninvited guest among them, these females are not actually human beings. Wait a sec. What the hell? An overwhelming sense of despair makes me stutter. But he just shakes his head as he walks slowly towards me. Have a look around and see for yourself. He puts his hand on my head. What? Demon door! We got a demon door! Before I know it, I'm standing in front of a door. I know this can't be real. It must be a trick. He's showing me an illusion. But, for some reason, I'm deathly afraid of this door. Demons! We've got demons! The door opens. Although I don't want to, I take a step towards it. I feel like no matter what I do, I can't turn back. My feet won't stop moving. You need to get out of there, my dude. Whoa, we got the underworld devils and stuff. There it is. No way! I exclaimed without even realizing it. I am standing in the center of hell. I'm not even sure why I knew immediately that this is hell. But it definitely is, and I must be at its very center. Ugh! Suddenly, my brain is flooded with information. Things I've never heard of. Things I'm not supposed to know. Death. Celebration. Ritual. Bog. The 7 demons ruling over the 7 deadly sins. And the death of the demon of greed. Wow! 5 women have entered the village. They are, in fact, trying to claim the throne of greed that is currently vacant. Of course they are! Please, stop! My head is throbbing. I close my eyes as the pain grows more intense. However, I feel like a parasitic worm is digging its way through my brain. The images keep popping up in my head and disappearing again. The unpleasant feeling soon turns unbearable. Horrible like no pain ever experienced before. Oh my god. My brain feels like it's melting. It's like my brain can't cope with the sudden influx of information. My eyes are burning up and all kinds of disgusting, wicked images flash before me. Wrath, fear, lust, lies, pride, sadness, gluttony, greed, sloth, plague, death, and revenge. And there's an immeasurable greed, strong enough to devour the whole world. Oh my god, please no! A disgusting sensation, the likes of which I've never felt before, forcefully make its way up my throat. I can't hold it back any longer and start vomiting. I jump out of my bed, flailing to the floor. Fall to the floor and roll around on the ground. Getting up once more. Only to find the space in front of me empty again. After vomiting so much that it feels like my intestines are about to come out next, I fall to my knees. I shall enjoy this. Let regret fill your every action as you abandon all hope. That is his message. Please, heed, relish and enjoy it to your heart's content. The voice sounds awfully clear, even though my consciousness is fading. After having struggled for so long, I finally succumbed to the weakness creeping over me. Saturday, October 27th, 6 days until the selection. Here we go! We're moving. Buzz! I wake up to the sound of my phone receiving a text message. Who could it be so early in the morning? I sit up and scratch my head. I can't think of anyone. Kim? The reporter? Oh, Sok Cho? Maybe my interviewee. I find my cell phone and reach out to grab it. Who the hell is texting me at this hour? I'm not supposed to be receiving text from 66666666666. Just saying. 6 days until this election. I spot an all too familiar text message. I shake my head and get up from my bed. Ew. Squishy, I step onto something soft and mushy. I look down. There's a chunky, dripping vomit all over my feet. Is that... Oh my god! There it is. Images are back! What? The taste of gastric acid makes its way up my throat as I remember yesterday. All of the knowledge that was forced inside my head. It's like it's flaring up, yet remaining blurry at the same time. I manage to stop vomiting and wash out the nasty taste in my mouth. Ugh. Write it down, man. I run across the room and grab my pen and paper and proceed to scribble down all of my scrambled thoughts. Novena Diabolos is a 9-day-long event. 5 women, monsters, and a chosen human. Memories flash up in my mind erratically and disappear just as quickly. I can't remember what I was trying to write. I slap myself to concentrate. It doesn't help. Damn it. I put my hands over my head in frustration. I can't remember what I wanted to write down. What the hell is wrong with my memories? It's hard to resist the urge to just drive the ballpoint pen straight through my brain. I take a deep breath and try to sort out my thoughts. Okay, calm down. Step by step, one word after another. I continue writing. One of the women is human. On the 9th day, I must leave this village with the human. The words coming out of my mouth are so bizarre, I can't even believe I'm the one who's saying them. This is obviously stuff from inside my own head. But as I write it, it's like I'm putting someone else's words on paper. It feels truly dreadful. But I do my best to focus in order to unearth the rest of these memories. I keep writing as if possessed. I'm out of breath, gasping for air like I just ran a marathon. And silently stare down at what I've scribbled down on paper. Sometimes we wake up from dreams that are shockingly real, only to realize how absurd they actually are once we write them down. That perfectly describes what I'm feeling right now. This is nonsense. Absolute bullshit. Logical thinking makes me criticize my own writing. I do my best to cast my doubts aside and type what I wrote down into my cell phone. Here's the gist of it. I got dragged into a weird, ritualistic event called Novena Diabolos. The participants of Novena Diabolos are 5 women and 1 man, of which the man will be sacrificed on the 9th day in order to resurrect the great demon ruler. In this particular case, the man is me, Jin-sun Park, and the women are demonesses. The purpose of Novena Diabolos is to make me choose one of them to leave together on the last day. Out of the village. Okay. The demonesses chosen by me. Oh. Will then sacrifice me and thus be resurrected as the demon ruler. My participation is supposed to end in certain death. Novena Diabolos is a ritual unusually rigged, reserved for those who know. However, one of the 5 women, I could not read that. In fact, considering the changes, the rules of this wicked game given me an actual chance at surviving this ordeal. There are the women participating in Novena Diabolos. Mina Hyun, Rin Che, Nari Lee, Sumi Choi, and Hana Sai. Only one of them is an actual real human, and I'll have to figure out who it is and escape together with her. These are the rules. 1. This place is cut off from the outside world until the ritual's conclusion. No getting out, no getting in. 2. The women are unable to meet and interfere with one another. They are unaware that there is a human woman among them. The existence of the real human is known only to me and the witness. Okay. So there's only 3 rules. Okay. The unexpected appearance of a human woman should have ruined this event, which is called Novena Diabolos. A glaring error in the devil's plans. But, in his wickedness, he seems to have integrated this mishap into the event, as if it's all just a game to him. This is driving me insane. I put my head into my hands and sigh. How the hell did I get involved in this nonsense? Another text message arrives. That's it! With no signal, this should not be possible, no matter what. Nevertheless, the text pops up as if nothing's wrong, which is physical proof that something's really weird is going on here, and that it's not just a dream in my mind playing tricks on me. It's not, it's demons! It's real, man! You need to get out of this place and pick the right... I guess I have to pick the right person. I slowly lift up my phone. I take a deep breath and open up the text message that just arrived. Vampire, Mina Hyun. Okay, so she's a vampire. Undead, Rin Che. Okay. Fox Spirit, Hana Sai. Succubus, Nari Lee. No wonder it had a weird feeling. Which, Sumi Choi. I laugh awkwardly and stare at the text with a blank expression. A game. That's truly what it feels like. Something for the devil's entertainment. Okay. Well then, who was the human? Who was the human? It didn't say. I finish up with the things on my phone in time to clean up the vomit on the floor. I agonize over how I should proceed, while figuring out who the monsters are and who's the uninvited guest. It's important to build up trust. All in all, it's a complicated matter. Where do I start? While I'm mulling it over, another text message arrives. I take out my cell phone. Though taken aback by the message, I realize what it means immediately. According to what I was told, the monsters who are part of this event are connected to some sort of ritual. The ritual must be performed in order to qualify as a demon. A sacrifice. In more simple terms, murder. The human offering summons the monster through magic, and is then killed by the monster to complete the ritual. It seems like this text is telling me where the summoning ritual took place. Come to think of it, I started receiving these texts the day I arrived in the village. Looking back at it now, it all becomes clear. Just yesterday, a person died at the location mentioned in the text. Does that mean... Time to think about all of this for a moment. These monsters need to have had victims to qualify as demons. That means the event originally would have required 5 victims. However, if one of them is human, there would only be 4 victims. If I find monster traces of some kind there, I might be able to figure out which monster did it. If I investigate and gather clues at the 4 murder sites to find the culprits, it should be possible via the process of elimination to single out the single human. Okay, I think I know what I need to do. My cell phone will have to serve as substitute for an actual camera. I also grab a pen and a notebook and stuff them into my coat pocket. The most important thing is to be well prepared mentally. This isn't about satisfying my journalistic curiosity anymore. That sort of excitement is long gone because of these circumstances. I just want to find a way out of this hellish predicament. I place a hand on my pounding heart and take a deep breath. Phew. Okay. I got this. I can do this. I try to stop my hands from shaking. Slap my trembling legs a few times and make my way outside after what feels like an eternity. I instinctively stop in my tracks. It's not like he made a particularly good first impression, but having seen what I've seen, I'm even more unnerved by his creepy appearance this time around. Hey there, hard at work today, I see? Yeah, it has to be. I'm certain the motel owner is somehow connected to the demon, devil, or whatever it was that I met. It's not just him. None of the villagers will be on my side. But I shouldn't show it openly. I have to make them believe that I'm being deceived. You seem busy. Attending an urgent matter, are you? I guess. Oh, that's right. Coverage for your story. Looks like you're not one to take a break. This is too much for me. I don't know how to react to his mocking tone. I move past him and push open the door and get away quickly. Best of luck, with your coverage. I do my best to ignore his words and don't turn back around. Alright guys, we're gonna have to end it there for today. We have made it to the lake, but we have to stop. It's been too long, guys. You guys gotta savor the story, you know what I mean? But, yeah. If you guys are enjoying this Novena Diabolos ritual, then please smash that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because it helps me make better content for you guys in the long run. But I appreciate you guys coming down to the Fox Den, and you guys should take it easy.